Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the show. It is me, Chris, and of course, we are once again blessed with the appearance of the Jimmy.
What's up? It's nice to be back. Yeah,
Yeah, welcome
thanks.
back, man. Had a nice little vacay up north, I'm sure.
Yeah, I got to see the red and white. Tried to find Governor Trudeau, and he was staying hibernating. I think so.
Yeah.
Missed him, but it was a good trip.
Probably wasn't cold enough out for him. I hear he's a mystical creature.
Oh, you know what? I did see somebody wearing blackface walk through the hotel. May have
Uh,
been
uh,
him.
I'm actually
That's
surprised that
usually
there wasn't.
the
I'm actually surprised there wasn't a SWAT team sent in there to take him out.
thing. Not Trudeau. No, he can do it. He can do anything he wants as long as it's
Of
him.
course, of course. So I had announced, I think, last week that we were going to rename Tuesday to 2A Tuesday as opposed to Trash Talking Tuesday. But we gotta let that slide a little bit. Um, we need to let it slide because some, I don't know if we want to call it concerning, but certainly interesting uh, developments have happened over this last week that kind of not preclude, but kind of maybe make it a little premature
Hmm.
to talk about some of that stuff. And what happened was the Supreme Court had briefs on cases that they were going to hear this session. Um, the Maryland case, actually, I think two of them are Maryland cases, and one was another one. Hold on one second, my dang dog. I don't know what's wrong with you. What's wrong with you? You want
So
to go outside?
sad,
Come on.
whining and crying. Well,
Come
I'm a
on.
little disappointed because I studied up on all the cases,
I'm sure you
and
didn't.
I know them all.
Yeah. Um, but what happened was uh, they got the briefs on the cases that they were going to hear this session, or that they were anticipating hearing this session. And what happens is like on Friday they usually dump like an update where they've kind of scheduled uh, the they kind of schedule them out. Well, they heard them along with other cases. It's called a conference, I think, is what they call it, like a scheduling conference type thing. Um, and they send out like notes and updates and that kind of thing on like late Friday nights, late on a Friday night after they do this. And neither one of them were mentioned, even though
Hmm.
they heard them. They heard briefs on them. They didn't have them in their list uh, or in their schedule for any follow-on hearing about them. So I'm kind of just waiting a little bit just to see, because who knows? They might have pushed them till uh, next session, which I think is in like June or July.
Oh, wow.
So
Hmm.
so we'll see. I mean, we'll know. We'll probably know for sure this week. If probably at the latest next week. But I just think it's a little bit premature to start diving into that if they're not even going to hear them anytime in the next 5 months.
Yeah, makes sense.
Um, but that doesn't mean that we don't have a whole bunch else that we can talk about.
Yeah, I got some things, but you got some things. Yeah, no.
Man,
Let's
I don't know. I don't know if you've been watching, but have you been watching the confirmation hearings?
absolutely. That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently, and if you read the tagline underneath my name, the memo was public. I'm not under,
Actually,
I'm
is
not sure how the Democrats didn't get it,
is this
but
the Pam Bondi? Is it?
Pam Bondi, Pete Hegseth.
What do you mean
Uh,
the memo? I don't know. See, I don't know what memo you're referencing.
I'm talking about the election. The Democrats didn't get the memo.
Oh, okay. You're being cute.
I'm
Um,
being cute.
no, okay.
It was a public memo put out by the American people in November that this
Absolutely. Yeah.
shit is just not going to fly anymore.
Yeah.
The fear mongering and the what's it called? race baiting and the all these things that they've tried to use over the last 4 years that were absolutely objected or rejected by the American public is exactly the same thing that they're trying to use in these hearings.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a threat to democracy. I mean, they've already said that Hegseth is a threat to democracy. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard's is going to be probably the worst. I think they're going to go after her the hardest.
Yeah.
Pam
Yeah.
Bondi, they tried with Pam Bondi, but she's just too smart for them.
Yeah.
um,
Well, she didn't. Yeah. And so I listened to the entire Pete Hegseth hearing.
mhm.
I probably only like 45 minutes into the Pam Bondi one. I was working all day, so trying to catch up. But yeah, I find these very interesting.
Mhm.
And I was thinking though, like how Tulsi Gabbard's going to go, because it's going to be weird because yes, they've attacked her before, even though she was a Democrat, but like it's weird that she was a Democrat. She's a legit Democrat.
Yeah,
Um, a legit former Democrat,
yeah.
I guess RFK won't go through anything, but
I don't know if his. Yeah, he'll have to at some point.
is it?
He's a Senate confirmation cabinet seat.
Oh, well, that's fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
these. Well, let me just go back. Like Pam Bondi didn't have a sex scandal or a getting or reporting being drunk at work, just nonsense like rumors or whatever.
Right.
Um,
Well, and
to
I won't ruin the rest. I won't ruin the rest of hers for you. But what I'll say is, make sure that you watch her and Adam Schiff's exchange
Oh man,
because that's fantastic.
I can barely listen to people like that. I could like the was it Mazie Hirono or
Oh,
whatever?
she's Mazie Hirono is the most idiotic senator in the Senate.
Yeah, I cannot. It's so painful to
Yeah.
listen to people like that. Even Elizabeth Warren was terrible.
Well,
Um,
at least I mean Elizabeth Warren, policy wise is a dumbass, but she's at least coherent. Mazie
yeah,
Hirono is not even like I don't even know how that woman functions from day to day because she can't formulate a complete sentence.
it's bad. Yeah, it's bad, but I get so we kind of touched on it, I think, last week. But what we're what we're seeing is was expected, and not just on the hearings, but just in general,
Mhm.
the extreme leftists, trying to characterize
Right.
or demonize Trump and the conservatives for attacking California over
Yeah.
the wildfires. It's climate change. Two, it's not their fault. Why are you attacking them? Why don't you just have some compassion?
Right.
So I think that's the extremism on the left that we expected, and that's what we're going to continue to see. They're going to just like try to pick apart everything, but what I'm hoping we see a shift in is the tolerance for it to go way down. I think that
Yeah.
a lot more people have had enough with that. Whoopi Goldberg and
Yeah.
her nonsense. I think people are just not going to put up with that and not listen to it. They're going to turn them off and they're going to say, "I don't buy your bullshit anymore."
Right. Yeah. Well, a new poll came out today. We'll get back on the Bondi hearing, but a new poll came out today, and Trump's going into office with an over 50% approval rating.
It's almost bad because that's insanely high. I would say, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
but it's only bad because it's harder to improve on that.
Right.
I think who knows? I feel like we're set up to win, win, win.
Yeah.
We saw
100%.
a ceasefire in Israel and Gaza today.
Yeah. That's
Um,
not that's not coincidental, by the way.
I don't think so. I haven't heard much of the reporting on it, but like I don't think Trump's camp is like claiming responsibility or anything. But
They're
it's more
not, but there's no question in my mind that Hamas didn't come to the table within the last week
sure they see the
because
writing on the wall, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure that him coming out and saying if this shit's not done by the time I take office, there's going to be hell to pay. That played a major role in it, and there's nobody that'll convince me otherwise.
Well, everybody will just ignore that, and they're going to say, Ukraine and Russia are still at war.
Yeah,
Why?
of course.
Why you didn't fix it? You said you were going to fix it day one. You said you were going to fix it before you even took
Yeah,
office. Why haven't you fixed it yet? Well, guess what? I mean, that was also the claim to be able to do that in 24 hours was years ago
right.
when it was much more reasonable to do that. But I'm almost still going to guarantee it's going to be a
Oh,
swift
sure.
resolution. So they'll
Absolutely.
complain, it'll get fixed, and then move on to the next thing.
Yeah, for sure. So it's interesting. So I just want to take a quick walk through this. Obviously, Pete Hegseth, they tried to hit him for drinking and having an affair on his wife, and all that. All known stuff, by the way. All stuff people already knew. I mean, there's nothing new or anything. I think he talked about most of that shit in his own book. So it's not like they were trying to get these gotcha moments, but you can't
Yeah.
get a gotcha moment with something that's already public knowledge.
I think
They
he handled
tried,
everything
they
pretty well.
failed,
Yeah.
and I believe that even Joni Ernst, who was like one of the Republicans that they thought was going to be a holdout for him, she's 100% on board.
Yeah.
So
Well,
he's going to get confirmed.
yeah. There was a couple things. It was very clear he refused to meet with the Democrats and was meeting with all the Republicans.
Absolutely, I would have done the same damn thing.
I think he could have reached across the aisle and answered
He
their
did.
questions
He
and probably
he
won some
he met
favor.
with Fetterman
Yeah.
because Fetterman is the only one on that side that said, "I have a complete open mind about this guy."
Yeah, but you know what? I think we have an opportunity on the right to reach over the aisle, and because if the left is willing to have a conversation, you have the conversation. You because that and they really are the ones that need to humanize you and have that heart to heart, they can't go for a gotcha moment. And after that,
I agree. I agree if you believe that that meeting is genuine and if you believe that they're coming to it um, from an honest viewpoint.
yeah,
There's meeting with Tammy Duckworth for Pete
well,
Hegseth, meeting with Macy Hirono,
there's a couple,
meeting
maybe
with
not.
Elizabeth Warren.
I think he could have met with Elizabeth Warren, like you said.
But she's already got her mind made up. She didn't give a shit.
I
Meeting with
guess.
Adam
Yeah.
Schiff is not going to change his mind.
I think it has an opportunity to get ahead of stuff, and I think if they addressed it in person, their concerns, if you will, then it would have gave them less opportunity to do that and go for a gotcha, because then he could call them out, be like, "Oh, that's interesting. That's not what you said to me." Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Stuff like that. I think he
I
could have done
agree.
better. I'm trying to pick him apart because I think it's fair to criticize the right and criticize him but I'm still a big supporter of him. I think he's a great candidate and will be a great SecDef. However, he didn't do himself any favors. He sounded like he was hypocritical about women in
Mm.
combat. I think he didn't take the opportunity to get into the nuance of his claims. I think he was afraid of sounding like he was still attacking females in combat roles, which he very publicly did. He very recently did. Why
Mm.
didn't he stick to his guns? Right? I mean, he tried to touch on
Well.
the
I mean,
standards.
what I took away from that was there was a very clear distinction. I don't think he changed his verbiage on women in combat roles. What they kept saying was women in the military, and he's never made a claim that
And he
women
did
shouldn't be in the military.
right, and he did not attack that
Right.
nuance, which he
Right.
should have. That's my problem. Is like he didn't take the opportunity to say, "Look, I never said that. You're making claims that I never made." But he almost was. But what he was doing, he sounded like he was still defending women in combat.
Mm.
Because he said they're some of the best warriors or whatever. He said that they should all have the opportunity. Which, if he would have said, I support them having the opportunity, but they won't meet the standards, and
Right.
they don't intermingle well
Right.
in that situation. We're talking about the elite of men. Most men are not
Yeah, you're
qualified.
talking about the 1% of the 1%.
Yeah, and so that women are just not going to meet that standard, meet that level, and and most men aren't either. And he could have, taken that opportunity to kind of level the playing field there,
Mhm.
and made that point, and he just didn't take the opportunity. So he came off as a hypocrite, I think,
Mhm.
in that sense, or he came off like he was just covering himself and placating or whatever to women in the military and the public and that kind of thing, rather than saying, "Look, I'm just being straight up. I'm sticking to
And I
my
think and I
convictions."
think in his case, you're probably right. And I don't know as though he did himself a disservice, in my opinion, but I think he spent his time, the amount of time that he had, to meet with the critical Republicans that he knew he had to get their vote to get through, and didn't what probably in his mind was waste his time with people that he knew he was never going to win over. I don't know, because there are
I think
Republicans that were
that's
on the
fair.
fence.
He probably didn't need to, and the focal point was winning over
Right,
the Republican ifs or whatever, the
right,
Republican maybes. So because yeah, why? But I would still advocate for reaching across the aisle.
sure,
How fantastic would it be to get a bunch of Democrats on board and
yeah,
say and give them the opportunity, to say we're all coming together.
yeah.
Let's
Well, and
rather
you're
than
gonna see, you saw it. I don't know if you watched any of Marco Rubio's today.
mm-mm,
Uh, Not one senator said a negative thing about him on either side.
okay.
Like he's gonna fly through, absolutely no problem. Ratcliffe, the guy going for CIA director,
That's almost not a good thing. I mean,
nobody challenged him. I mean, they asked him questions, but they asked him questions. They didn't, try to bring up dirt or anything like that. Nobody on either side. He's gonna go right through. They're using the Pam Bondi, not so much going after her because they can't really challenge her qualifications. She's already been a state AG,
mhm,
and they weren't really attacking her per se, um, but they're using hers as a prelude to Cash Patel.
yep,
They're
that's
really
gonna
going to
be
go
fun
after
one.
Cash Patel, and they're really
Yeah,
going to go after Tulsi.
yep, yeah, Matt Gates would have been fun,
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
but yeah, I think um, I don't know. Actually, now I lost my train of thought. Uh, I don't know what they're. I didn't, like I said, I didn't see the rest of hers, so I'm interested to see how that goes. Um,
Yeah, the Adam Schiff one is worth watching, and I'm trying to think of who the other one was. There was one more. Uh, I mean, worth watching in the sense that it just shows how idiotic and how unserious the Democrats really are about this. Because everything Hegseth said, they came back with, well, what I'm hearing is, or
mm,
what I think you're saying is, no, that's not at all what he said, and that's not at all what you heard. It's what
right,
you're,
right.
you know,
That's what you
uh,
want to interpret. Yeah, if you don't
yeah.
answer my question the way I want you to. But one thing I was going to say was I'm a little bit concerned about Marco Rubio in the sense that he's been in the Senate for a while. He's more one of those establishment people, and I think that if he's not getting grilled,
Hmm.
then he's not going to be able to give that kind of pushback and resistance. And that's what I was going to say too. Is I want to see the people that they're attacking a lot more. I think those are the people that we're going to want in power moving
Mm.
forward. And it's not to um I was going to say not get retribution, but it is kind of to get retribution, but not in a, like Pam Bondi's not going to file charges or whatever against anybody who didn't commit criminal acts.
Right.
It's not just to drum up charges against somebody. It's to take people down for the illegal and criminal activity that they did using, abusing the DOJ um, for their political gains. Like, that's fair. Like, that needs to happen. It's not just to go after somebody for retribution. It's not just to um, swing the pendulum the other way.
Mhm.
It's to avoid that. It's to attack that so it doesn't happen again in the future.
Right.
In my opinion, say this will not stand. You don't even try to do that again because you
Yeah.
will not get away with it. You will pay. You will
Yep.
pay because that should be illegal or that is illegal. You did not play ball. You were doing that purely for political gain.
Well, and I did find it interesting that the Democrats' major concern with her was the weaponization of the lawfare. That
Yeah,
that was they're like, oh, you can't use the Well, you're perfectly fucking fine with it for the last 4 years.
that's
I
what. So
mean,
that's what they're
and
afraid
and
of. Yeah.
that's
Oh,
why
it
they're
works in
so
the favor.
concerned about it.
Yeah.
That's why they're so concerned about it because they know what they've done.
Hmm. And
So
they're the
yeah,
ones that were supporting it. They're the ones saying, going all the way back to getting, Maxine Waters screaming, "Get in their face," and
yeah,
do, they were encouraging this fight, 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 and the crazy people saying, Trump's an insurrectionist and this and that.
right.
It's like that's an immediate like shutdown. That's like calling someone a racist nowadays.
Right.
Like we're done listening to you. We've been there, heard that. What does Barty think about it? Or that was Bella.
That's Bella
Yeah, that
putting in
was
her 2 cents. Yeah, yeah.
Bella.
Yeah. She's apparently not a fan.
Yeah, dude, tell him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers. um, but yeah, so the Bondi one is really just a setup for or what they're trying. What they tried to do was they tried to set her up to say something that they could use against Cash Patel.
Yeah.
It didn't work. She didn't bite. Obviously, she's way smarter than they are. And
So is he. He's gonna crush it too.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And I think he's. I haven't heard that there's any Republicans that are opposing him,
yeah.
but I haven't heard a lot of them coming out saying that they're 100% behind him either. So that's a little bit concerning. And there's, it's almost like there's always one, right? Like they're always going to pick one that is just for whatever reason that one is going to have the target, and that one is maybe not going to make it through.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe he's it. I don't know. What do you follow up with if he doesn't make it through? Who do you follow up with? Matt Gates.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure they have a plan to
Yeah.
not make it comfortable.
But Cash Patel has also. I mean, he was on the Hill today, meeting with senators and stuff. So you know.
But see, yeah, I think he's one. He's not like all these people. They're good people. He's like a JD Vance in the sense
Yes.
that JD Vance is going to win you over. He's going to be able to speak to you. He's going to be able to speak your language. He's not. I don't know, like so many crazy Democrats that just can't have a conversation, and
Well, they can't.
or
They
extreme
haven't.
people.
They don't under. And I'm really beginning to believe that they just don't understand anything outside of one of the isms or
Yeah,
one of the phobias. If it doesn't deal with racism, transphobia, LGBTQ, um, or one of those things, or illegal immigrants. If it falls outside one of those categories, they cannot have a conversation with you, or they because absolutely everything that they talked about turned into that, some form or fashion turned into one of those subjects. Oh yeah, Pam Bondi, are you gonna go after the trans laws? Are you gonna go after Title IX? Are you gonna kick the trans out of Title IX that Joe Biden tried to put in there? Pete Hegseth, are you going to go after the trans people that are in the military? It all turned into the same four topics for them, and they cannot speak on anything outside of those.
sure.
So, and
Yeah,
they
yeah,
didn't. Obviously, they didn't get the memo because those are exactly the things that were rejected by the American people in November, and
yep,
not just rejected by Republicans, by the way. and
That's how I felt about it.
not just
Yeah.
rejected by white people, by the way.
Yeah, I think it was one of the, I think, senators from Illinois. I want to say she said, I was elected here by my constituents, and I'm responsible for ensuring, that I put somebody here that represents their values. I'm like, go ask them. They
Yeah,
voted for this. I
that
mean,
was Tammy. That was Tammy Duckworth.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. Well,
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure the
And
majority
I would never,
of Illinois
I
as a
don't
whole
begrudge
is
her. I mean,
really.
I don't know if you know anything about her, but she was an Army helicopter pilot who was in a helicopter crash, and I think in Iraq,
Mm,
and lost both her legs. She was a soldier, but politically, she's a fucking moron.
mm, interesting. Yeah. Mm.
I mean, I guess you have to be to get elected in, Chicago,
You gotta play
or
the, yeah,
you have to play those games. But I mean, she really believes it. But
yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
so I don't know. But yeah, I think you still have Cash Patel, you still have RFK Jr., you still have
Is
Tulsi.
is AOC on any of these committees? Because I really
No,
want to
this
see.
is the Senate.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. I'm not even thinking about that. Yeah, they're all Senate hearings. Man,
No, and I bet you that frosts her ass that she's not.
not yet, not yet until she switches gears.
No,
Um,
I actually heard from AOC the first time today. I've heard from her in months.
oh, yeah. I haven't heard.
She was on the House floor. I don't know, spewing some bullshit about LGBTQ or something.
She's yeah. Some of them I can't stand to listen to. She's somewhat entertaining. How silly
Yeah.
she is.
With all her rage, when she gets in those little rage moods, it's so
I
cute.
want to hear her talk to Tom Homan again. Uh,
Yeah, that went so well the first time.
yeah, yeah. I don't think she'd show up.
Yeah.
Actually, so that'll be one, right? Or no? Is he?
No,
No.
I don't think so. It's interesting that you bring that up because I don't think that his is an actual government position.
The director of ICE.
I don't think that that's what his position is going to be.
Hmm.
I
That's,
think they're calling him. I think they're calling him the border czar.
oh well, I think that's just his. Let's see. Um,
Um, but I'm not sure that he is actually going to be filling an actual. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
it
But
comes
my
up as ICE
impression of
director. Well, he served as the acting director of ICE
right.
from 2017 to 2018 during the Trump administration. But I think that's where they're going to put him back. Yeah. Well, maybe not. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he's going to be filling a. He's going to be filling like an Elon Musk type role.
oh, yeah, you're right. I kind of thought that was he was going to put him as the ICE director,
Mm-mm.
and they just referred to him as the border czar because that was that's the focus. Also, his former acting U.S. ICE director will serve as border czar in his upcoming administration, a position that is likely to play a key role in Trump's campaign pledges to secure the U.S.-Mexico border and mount a massive deportation operation. Um, yeah, well, joining the Trump administration. Um, I
He's going
don't
to
think
be It's going to be an advisory role.
I don't know how, in what capacities. Trump said Homan will be responsible for the southern and northern borders, maritime and aviation security, and will be responsible for deportation efforts, a central part of Trump's agenda. Interesting.
Right. So
Yeah.
he's going to be sitting. He's going to be sitting in the White House, advising Trump on what to tell ICE and Homeland to do.
Yeah, I mean, but is it an official advisor appointment? Because it sounds like he's going to be appointed, but
Right. An appointment is in an appointment like that does not require Senate confirmation.
yeah, yeah, but I imagine like they don't speak about Doge and Musk and Ramaswamy as an appointment or
Right.
joining the administration necessarily, because that's not an official capacity, official position in department or anything.
Right.
So I was kind of curious. I know but they'd be advisors essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So well, that's interesting. I kind of thought it was a more specific position, but regardless,
Yeah.
Um,
He's
you know,
still going to have the power. He's still going to have the power, and more importantly, the ear of the president uh, to
so
to make those
yeah,
decisions.
Christy Nome, however,
Hmm.
she will be. That's an appointment that will be
Yes,
review.
that's an
I
actual cabinet position. Yeah.
yeah, um, yeah. I guess I shouldn't say anything.
The
Uh,
hit.
no, I'm just looking forward to some some hanging changes in our hallway. It's
Yeah, facts. Um, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think, like I said, I mean, if you thought the Hegseth one was entertaining, I think I might even take the day off when Cash Patel goes,
oh yeah, yeah.
just so I can watch that in real time because that's going to be the fireworks.
They're long, yeah, but I watch them at like 1.5 speed so I can kind of catch up. That's why I listened to it last night. But yeah, I'm gonna listen to Pam Bondi's a little bit more of that. I wish I could be a little bit more selective, but I don't know. They're all pretty good. That once I get to the question and answers, they go pretty quick.
I like
Um,
to skip ahead to just the Democrats when they start talking to them. I mean, I know
yeah,
with the Republicans, I mean, they may ask them a couple like kind of policy questions and stuff like that, and that's fine because I do like to hear what they have to say about certain things. But it's definitely the entertaining part is when they go over to the morons on the left.
yeah. It is like just cringing though, cringeworthy, I guess.
It can
Um,
be, yeah,
listening to them. So, and I kind of want to jump in sometimes. I'm like, dude, say this or
yeah,
actually answer the question. Don't play their games.
right.
I don't like when Democrats do that and they won't answer a direct question. Answer the direct question and
Well,
frame it the way you
but
want.
they're also very good and very attuned to asking questions that they know they can't answer. So
Yeah, yeah,
there's a lot of times where they know that the answer is, maybe classified, or they know that the answer is maybe a lot more nuanced than what,
yeah. That's true. Some of those are tough. Having a nuanced question, and when they demand a yes or no answer, I mean,
right.
Republicans do that all the time. Um,
Absolutely. It's a game.
Yeah. So, but like, they tried to grill him. I think it was Tim Kaine was trying to grill
Oh, yeah,
Hegseth.
and he was terrible.
Yeah, but he was trying to grill. I mean, it's a fair point to raise. Like, hey, just try to be fair. You are taking an oath to, commit to this country, but you took an oath to your wife to not cheat on her and you cheated on her
Yeah.
months after and he admitted this, like he
Right.
honestly did, um months after you had a child. That's concerning, but I would kind of answer the question and I would say, so what's your ultimate goal? What do you want me to what do you want to get out of this? Do you want to just know if I will live up to my word, I will, and then he can commit to that. He can just say,
Right.
"Let's get to the bottom." I think he'd get more respect by kind of addressing and answering a question as honestly as possible,
Hmm.
rather than kind of trying to play a political game that people see through, like
Right.
when just calling it out, trying to say it's rumors or it's anonymous reporting and not willing to answer a question. I understand, like you don't want to it is nuanced, so just straight up saying, "Yeah, cheated on my wife right after we had a kid." There's nuance, I'm sure, and it's like you can't just and there's probably more to it it's
Right.
not that cut and dry to say
Right.
that.
We know one side of the story.
Yeah, yeah.
We know that it happened. We don't know the particulars around it, nor will we ever.
And should we? Like,
No. Yeah.
that
Exactly.
that's kind of the point that you kind of were saying that that's what they're focused on rather than, let's
Right.
focus on some real issues. Like, that's just
Right.
a smear campaign, which it is.
Right. Which
That
is
really has
100% what.
nothing to
Which is
re has
why I
nothing to do
found
with
it
this people.
absolutely hilarious when Senator Miller, uh, the Republican, said after that exchange, when he was up, he looked right across the aisle and said, you're talking about him drinking and him. How many of you have come in here drunk to vote at night? And don't tell
Oh,
me you
I
haven't,
didn't
because
hear that.
because I know a whole bunch of you have.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. No, yeah. Well,
He goes,
yeah,
he goes, and I don't remember any of your colleagues asking you not to come or to resign. He's like, how many senators do we know that have gotten divorced because they cheated on their spouse? You didn't ask any of them to resign.
yeah. That's hilarious. No, I didn't see that at all. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh man, I keep losing my train of thought, but I had a good point. Oh well.
All
All right.
right. Well, um, I will be doing another show on Friday. I don't know, Jimmy. Are you guys doing hockey on Fridays again?
Yeah, actually, this weekend sucks. I mean, I have hockey Friday nights, Saturday morning, Saturday evening, and Sunday morning. So we're pretty booked up. But I mean, I can, maybe squeeze some stuff in there somewhere. But
Cool.
yeah, up to you. So we'll see.
Yeah. So Friday we'll be back. By the way, I wanted to say to all the people who listened to the last show, uh, man, you guys must have really liked that tag that I put on it because uh, it got downloaded and streamed over 400 times in under 24 hours. So I
Sweet.
really appreciate that.
Awesome.
You know, it was great.
Yeah, that's cool.
So let's keep that momentum going,
Hmm.
um, and we'll keep putting these things out. Um, I don't I don't know. We'll see what Friday brings, but I'm sure we can. Well, I'm sure we'll have a lot more to talk about then.
Yeah,
All right,
these are fun times.
and Bella's saying goodbye.
She agrees. That sounds good. Bye,
She
Bella.
agrees. All right, guys, we'll talk to you on Friday.
See ya.